Jonathan, do you want to make your way up? We've had a. Where's Matt? Is Matt here? Oh, hi, mate. How you going? We've had a long association with Porsche. I think Matt and I met probably 2018-ish, around there, before COVID. And Matt reached out to me on LinkedIn. And then after a few years and 7 signatures in Germany and a heap of legal processes, we decided to do a project together, and it was an amazing project to be involved in. So I thank Matt for putting a little bit of faith. I think there was more signatures than I had staff in the office at the time. And the project, obviously, for people that not aware of it, won some awards at Parking Australia a couple of years ago. But it was the ability to do the entire parking transaction from the in-car display. So the ability to search, navigate, access and open the barrier and pay directly from the in-car display. And that's now seen in our UbiPark CarPlay app, and it's about to be released into Android Auto as well, which wasn't a part of the project. I don't think there's any Android Auto in your cars, is there? No. But we've got Jonathan here to come and have a chat around something that's sort of interesting to me and destination charges for electric vehicles, and it's very topical, and we've got a debate coming up a little bit later, which I'm really excited about. But Jonathan, can you come up and maybe give us a bit of a rundown of what Porsche's doing in the world of EV?
Cool. Right.
All good?
All good. Cool. Thank you. So thank you very much for the kind introduction. A little bit different to, I think, many of you guys. I have a very weird and interesting job title. I've got, and LinkedIn, many people always reach out to me and say, oh, I've got so many things about CRM and all these sort of website performance, like e-performance. For us, actually stands for electric. So I look after all of the electric car, or the, anything that is not sales and marketing sort of falls under myself. I've been in Porsche for only a year, not a very long time. I thought I'll sort of mix it up a bit, tell something about myself. I speak English and Chinese, as you can tell. Unlike, I think, half of the company, which all speak German, I speak Chinese, so a little bit different. I've lived across 3 Australian states. I first started my study in Brisbane, moved my way to Sydney, and then now I'm in lovely sunny Melbourne, which is, this is actually the best that it's got. Currently I own 5 cars, so I do like my cars. I'm very much a passionate person within the industry. As you can see here at the bottom, I've actually been in the auto industry for 11 years. For those who don't know as well, Porsche has actually got 8 different variants of Taycan, which is a battery electric vehicle. Many people think of Porsches, we always think about the 911s, the sports cars and all that, but there are actually 8 variants of the EVs out there in the market already for Porsche. And not to leave it, the lost love, I guess, is the hybrid. There are actually 10 models of the Porsche hybrid across both SUV, sedans, and wagon body style. So definitely a lot of choices out there for people wanting to jump into the sort of EV revolution. And this EV revolution is also probably one of the biggest challenges that Porsche has faced. So going back a little bit of the history around Porsche, since 1951. It's a long history. Everybody knows and loves the Porsche brand. Basically back at the very first 1948, where the first production car came out to Australia. Then you can see how it slowly grew within Australia. It's a very long heritage of a brand that we have to be careful when we transition over to the electrified revolution, I guess. And as you can see there's lots of, motorsports heritage around it, where they're very passionate people within the brand that really likes the Porsche brand. And in order to really transition smoothly in this EV revolution, we need to capture that enthusiasm that we currently have with the Porsche customers maturing them within this market space, and then turning them into strong sales, basically. That's what we're here to do. We're here to sell cars and sell our products. And ultimately, if we don't bring our customer along with the journey, either they will be left behind or we will be left behind. So that's definitely one of the biggest challenges that we face. These are what we call the Strategy 2030. That is how we sort of targeted on how do we actually tackle some of these problems. Porsche being the brand of great heritage that I've spoken about, we have to be able to compete against not just with other automotive manufacturers, but also luxury brands as well. As you know, Porsche brands is very prestigious, and how do we actually further develop the brand into the modernization of luxury? Omnichannel, which is where Maddie, my colleague, is fully engaged and fully into, which is where that parking solution came about. This is where beyond the experience that we currently provide with the engagement with the vehicle as well as within our dealership, what other channels we could engage and what other touch point we can further enhance Porsche customers' experience. And then lastly, this is where we call the road to X. X is where we actually identified the transition point where our company would sell more electric vehicles than petrol vehicles. So our company is very much focused on delivering that sustainable mobility. And yeah, basically by 2026, this is where the target is for us to be able to transition half of our new vehicle sales into electric vehicle. Putting it into more detailed figures, even though 2026 is the 50%, we actually have a more ambitious goal by 2030, 80% of our company vehicles will be battery electric vehicles. Now, so hopefully that helps set the scene for you guys a bit. Let's have a look at some of the local barriers that we've been facing. These are some of the most recent survey that's been taken up from potential battery vehicle prospects, I guess. 49% of them always goes, oh yeah, battery cars are too expensive, therefore it's just not for me just yet. I can't afford it. I can't afford my petrol vehicle now. I can't afford a battery equivalent of a vehicle. However, as many of you guys might know, people always speak about range anxiety. That's the bit that they're so afraid that they're going to be left stranded with not enough range in the vehicle where they're stuck. Surprisingly, that's now actually dropped down to 34%. So it's nowhere near as high as it was probably just maybe 3-4 years ago. But more specifically, as you can see here, 34% refers to the battery performance, how much range they can get. But now in the rising, it's actually the 32% that are actually more worried about the charging component of it. So they realize that nobody drives 1,000 Ks a day. Well, not that many people. Majority of people, does 30-minute here and back kind of thing. They know that battery vehicle is fully capable of doing that, but the lack of charge point near where they want to be, near their home, a reliable one, those are the issue. That's our customers are currently facing. And this is what we always refer to as charging anxiety. So that's beyond just the range. So from Porsche, or for Porsche, or for our future customer, what is charging excellence? All right? This is what we always aim. In everything we do, we aim to produce the best vehicle that we can, best performance car, the best battery electric vehicle. How about charging? What we collectively together in Australia can do to support all of these future customers moving into EV. This is what we always refer to as 4 pillars of charging. Home charging, as everybody knows, is how you charge it at home. All our Taycan at the moment comes with charging equipment, as well as we organize installation at the homes, where I think 80 or 90% of people actually charges at the home. Currently, customers are having great experience with our service provider, which they know that in the comfort of their home, they can refuel their car without needing to visit a petrol station. Dealer charging, it's back when 2019, I think We're one of the very early automotive franchise to actually launch a 300 plus kilowatt charging in Melbourne. So the Porsche Centre Melbourne in Collingwood, that particular charger cost a significant amount of money back in 2019 to put in. And the scale of that project even involved having to close off Punt Road. So that's how big a project it was. And Porsche being Porsche, we try and deliver the best that we can in terms of having the best charging available in Australia, in the Porsche dealership for our customer. Now, these final two pillars are the one that I think we in Australia slow in terms of catching up. On the road charging, I'm sure you guys would have heard that, there's all these charges and all these issues with public charging and all those sort of things, charges being down and all that. We're still trying to work on it, but ultimately, this is where Australia is failing compared to our overseas market. And then destination charging. It's a very unique piece of thing that we currently have. It's part of a global charging network program that we currently have, which we'll go into a little bit more detail a bit later. So, talk about public charging. This is what you would expect filling up in Australia, especially doing a long drive, with our not great highway, but at least we know that from petrol perspective, everybody's fine. We know that we don't have to worry about it, all right? But when we do charging, what do we see? You see faulty charges, you see charges with, just a random sign slapped on saying out of order, you see red on the display screen, all these sort of issues that's been coming up. And even just looking at the photos, these are not a very pleasant place to go, right? In comparison to, a big, nice, well-lit service station. So what have Porsche done globally? So this is the Porsche charging now. The background is a little bit dark, you can't see, but I'll show you a little bit more photos afterwards. It's opened in July 2023. It's actually between the motorway junction of A60 and A61, one of the busiest highway within Germany. There's 6 300 kilowatt DC fast charging station there, plus 2 22 kilowatt AC charging station, and it's 24/7 self-serve. You can see that there's refresh, so there's toiletries in there for people to refresh themselves. There's relax, so there's a lounge. There's recover, there's food and coffee making facilities, and then connect. It's where both from an internet perspective, also from a working table and the way that people could actually go in there and do their business when they're waiting for the vehicle to charge. So having a look at it very quickly, so this is what it looks like. Definitely the state-of-the-art project that we have. You can see very modern architecture. It's definitely a very pleasant place to go to versus a tritium charger currently at the side of the bush kind of thing. Looking at the interior, so there's vending machines. It's 100% unmanned, well, most of the time, I guess, 24/7. Just with the QR code on the app and all that, you can gain access to it. You can pre-book certain elements of it, and then you can do all that payment of the charging and everything else of the food and all that via the app as well. This is what it looks like. And then, surprise, surprise, when I tried Googling it, there's already Google reviews on it, and it's 4.8. So not perfect, but definitely much greater than what people would be experiencing. Yes, customers do pay a premium to access a facility such as this, but it's definitely something that encourages people to go, yes, that is actually a difference between buying a Porsche EV versus another branded EV. Moving over to destination charging, this is where the e-mobility journey is met with great customer experience. This is where Porsche partners with partners like yourselves to support our EV driving customers to where they go and support their charging needs. Looking at the ever-growing global network, this is not just an Australian network, it's actually global. Globally, we have more than 7,500 stations, and it's growing by the day. In Australia, we have about 110, and we're actively looking to grow that number as well. So here's an example of some of the local establishments that have signed up with Porsche destination charging. These are the benefits that Porsche customer would get. But most of our partners are actually very open to allowing other EV customers to charge as well. So here's a bit more sort of difference of, definitely high quality establishment where our customers would go to able to help them to give them a charge when they visit the facilities. So what is the offer? Here to always sell something. These charges are complimentary for the right partner. We would actually pay for the hardware upfront for our different destination. That includes the charging dock, a 11 kilowatt charger, 4.5 meter cable. It's valued about $2,200. And we would also contribute support towards installation as well. So what's the sort of benefits? I guess it's the exposure for the Porsche customer and the enthusiasts. As I've mentioned before, we come from a strong fan base of Porsche enthusiasts, and this is where we would be able to attract the customers to the locations. Joint marketing and PR opportunity. This is where actually within the Porsche app as well as the Porsche Head Unit, once you sign up with the destination program, they'll actually come up within the vehicle satellite navigation to tell them, hey, by the way, there is a Porsche destination charging station here, and you can come visit here as well. We can also partner with the partners to allow all sorts of different collaborations or offering. Same with similar to the app stuff that we've spoken before, more integration of technology on, how do we further integrate the ecosystem together and provide convenience for our customer. And that's everything from me. Thank you.
Thanks, Jonathan. So, just so I'm clear, Jonathan, the last slide prior was around, Porsche are looking for partners to put in charging stations to attract the Porsche owner.
Yep, correct.
Sure, there's some car parks. Or Shell's doing it at Port. Sure, Daniel can get a few Porsches into his car park. So, we got any questions for Jonathan around? Oh, we've very quickly.
In terms of having charging stations, we know that it takes 5 minutes to fill up petrol. How
Correct.
are you offsetting the fact that you sort of need more accessibility for charging stations to have availability for extended time and all that?
So, as an example, the Porsche Centre Melbourne charger takes about 18 minutes to charge the battery vehicle from empty. Well, not empty, maybe 10% thereabout. So fast charging DC stations are more suitable for heavy, dense, metropolitan area, whereas destination charging station is where I think customers or EV drivers understand it's not there to fill it up to the full. I think everybody is so used to filling up petrol is you go there once a week, you fill it up to full. Like, for example, your mobile phone, you charge it once a day, twice a day, 3 times a day, right? But do you charge it every single time to full before you pick it up again? No, you just pick it up and continue to use it, and then it's the same thing for battery vehicles. That's why the more chargers we have out everywhere, the better it is for everybody to just have constant top up. You don't drive 300 kilometers a day or even 1,000 kilometers a day. You top up 10 kilometers within this hour that you're stationary here. You move somewhere else, you top up another 10 kilometers here, and then you continue to go about your day. Overnight, you sleep for 8 hours, pop the car on charge, 8 hours, the car's fully charged. These are the sort of benefits that having more charging stations out there, the more convenient it is for everybody.
And do you find people are doing that instead of I've noticed up in Vaughan where they've got the charging stations, people go up and stay for 2 hours and
Correct.
go and have lunch. Do you find that you have to offset those sort of habits?
So many of the charging network are actually implementing idle fees, it's what they call. So basically is if your vehicle is still plugged in after it's full, they'll charge you basically $5 a minute kind of thing. So it encourages it, and it's really helped. You can see from even European where the countries they've fully, basically it's an accepted model. People just immediately come and move their car.
Pauline?
It's a completely question.
Mm-hmm.
The Porsche chargers only charge Porsches? Like, is it a charger per car type?
So these Type 2 chargers are compatible with basically all electric vehicle. Correct.
It's just a branded charger.
Correct. Hmm. Yep.
The offer that you're putting there,
Hmm.
supplying the electric chargers.
Yep. Yep.
Are they the 22 kilowatt chargers or?
11 kilowatt chargers. Hmm. Yeah, the 11 kilowatt chargers.
Come on, Laurie.
Yeah. Yeah. We are looking into upgrading to 22 kilowatt offering, but we're not quite there yet. But yeah, hopefully we should be able to announce something by next year.
Daniel?
Just talking about that from a commercial standpoint,
Mm-hmm.
if you're giving them away for free, what's the catch?
He's charging for 20
Catch. The catch, like,
Well, if you're giving away free destination charges,
mm,
are you then doing all the payments and everything in the background and keeping the money, or how do you make money out of it?
so we don't make money on it. It is a pure marketing exercise. It is from a marketing budget. But from the partner side, by signing up, there's basically an agreement for 3 years, thereabout, that they would be providing the electricity to Porsche customers within that 3 years.
You get a free Porsche as well. It's fair to say that the Porsche guys get asked all the time, and they really like being asked for free Porsches.
How many do I have to buy?
It'd have to be orange if it was for you. Any other questions? Jesse?
What's the primary motivator for an end user or a customer to actually purchase an electric vehicle?
I think majority at the moment it's more just, I wouldn't say it's a toy, but for a Porsche EV, it's very much a toy. But for, I think, general EV owners, I think it's more the tax savings as well as the convenience. Once you've tried that your daily commute doesn't include a 1,000-kilometer drive, you can live with an EV every day. And it's, you know, people don't like going to petrol station. They don't like spending their hard-earned money on filling up with petrol. And they're great cars to drive. Yeah.
And just for me, the performance of the electric vehicle over a
Yep.
combustion engine, is that something that's attracting people? I know the Taycan obviously had some amazing reviews.
Correct. I think initially, yes, but as the early adopter phase has started to come to an end, that's where more mum and dads, more day-to-day users actually look at the practicality, the price difference. Does it make sense from a dollar's perspective? You know, with the fringe benefit tax, government rebate for the EV, this is where it's now starting to make sense for novated leasing, right? So that's where more and more people are now moving into that space. And
Obviously governments around the world have incentivised people to go down the EV. What are you seeing here, say in Victoria? What sort of incentives are there from a government tax breaks for EV?
Very good question. I'm trying to remember what's in the Victorian government. I think they do have slightly cheaper rego, but yeah, that's probably the only thing.
Daniel?
Just talking about the cost comparison, where do you see, or how do you see the future to bring EV vehicles actually comparable to a combustion engine that makes it cheaper or back to online? More production? Is it better technology? Is technology expanding?
Yep.
When do we see that in the future to actually become relevant?
I have to try and be careful what I say here. I think it's close to getting there in terms of a price-wise, because petrol car will only ever be more expensive because of emissions, because of all these regulations coming in. The only way is up, realistic. Like being very honest. We can no longer sell big V8s as we used to, right? So we've already seen transition away from V8s, and people and the market will demand with sort of disincentives from governments and all that, making it unaffordable to buy electric vehicle, where more and more people move into actually testing an EV, and once they've used it once, they go, actually, it's not that bad. Actually, I can live with it every day. And then that's where that big wave would start to come through of the majority of people start to take up EV.
Saying is combustion engines price will increase, but EV pricing won't
it's an economic question.
Because the total cost of ownership of EVs are actually already lower than electric car.
Correct.
I own two, and then especially you spend nothing on maintenance. The brakes don't wear out. There's nothing to change. You think the tires rotate maybe once a year.
Yep.
It's just a battery.
Yeah.
There's nothing to maintain.
Got to make it in four-wheel drive for you, Daniel. Any other questions? Awesome. Jonathan, thanks very much
Thank
for
you.
coming, and Matthias, thank you very much.